Remember when the loudest sound in your house was the crinkle of a snack wrapper? When the biggest decision of your day was whether you wanted the Keebler Magic Middles or the Hostess Pudding Pie that was waiting in your lunchbox? Well, we're going back to the decade of big hair and even bolder snacks. Today, we're counting down 25 legendary 80s snacks that will send your taste buds on a trip right back in time. Let's get to it. The 1980s were a wild time. The colors were brighter, the music was louder, and the snacks, they were on a whole other level. It was a golden age for junk food, a time when our lunchboxes were basically treasure chests filled with processed, sugary, and totally glorious treats. Some of these snacks are still around, the classics we still enjoy today, but a whole lot of them have just vanished. They've become the stuff of legend, delicious ghosts of pantries past that live on only in our memories. So today, we're heading back to the heart of the 80s to count down the snacks that defined a generation. From the forgotten gems we wish would make a comeback, to the icons that are still hitting the spot. Number 25. Oh Boises. Let's kick things off with a crunch that was, as the commercials promised, truly oh boisterous. Oh Boises, from those busy Keebler elves, were not your average potato chip. They were thin, bubbly, and fried to a golden crisp that gave them a crackly crunch ordinary chips just couldn't touch. Launched in the mid to late 80s, these chips had a super light and airy texture because of the little air pockets baked right in. While they had a few flavors like Original and BBQ, the sour cream and onion was the real masterpiece, a tangy, savory chip that had everyone reaching for just one more. Many people remember these as the perfect after-school snack while firing up the Nintendo. Sadly, like a lot of great things from the 80s, Oh Boises were gone from shelves by the early 90s, leaving a crunchy void in our hearts. Number 24. Giggles Cookies. In the 80s, we didn't just eat our snacks, we played with them. And Giggles Cookies were probably the most playful cookies out there. These sandwich cookies from Nabisco were the life of the party, with a big, goofy grin stamped on each one. But the fun didn't stop there. When you twisted one open, you'd find a dual cream filling of both chocolate and vanilla, which was a total delight. They were a staple in lunchboxes and after-school snacks, less about being a fancy treat and more about the pure joy they brought. That combo of the crunchy cookie, the silly face, and the two-tone creamy center made them unforgettable. They were simple, fun, and just plain delicious. Even though they're long gone, Giggles Cookies are remembered for putting a smile on your face before you even took a bite. Number 23. Hostess Pudding Pies. Hostess has always been a giant in the snack world, but in the 1980s, they gave us something special. The pudding pie. This wasn't just your standard fruit pie with a different filling. This was a whole new world of snack indulgence. Picture a classic, flaky Hostess pie crust, glazed just right. But instead of fruit, it was packed with rich, creamy, decadent chocolate or vanilla pudding. It was the best of both worlds, the grab-and-go convenience of a pie and the comforting goodness of pudding. For a kid, finding one of these in your lunch bag was like hitting the jackpot. It was a messy, glorious snack that usually ended with pudding on your fingers and a huge smile on your face. Hostess still makes great stuff, but the original pudding pie holds a special, gooey place in the hearts of 80s kids everywhere. Number 22. Smurf Berry Crunch Cereal. Was there a more perfect 80s combo than Saturday morning cartoons and a giant bowl of sugary cereal? In 1983, Post took that pairing to the next level with Smurf Berry Crunch. Riding the huge wave of the Smurfs' popularity, this cereal was an instant hit. The box itself was a work of art, featuring Papa Smurf and the whole gang. But the real magic was inside. The cereal was made of sweetened corn, wheat, and oat pieces that were, of course, Smurf berry flavored. And in the proud tradition of great 80s cereals, it turned your milk a delightful shade of blue. They even released a sister cereal, Smurfy Magic Berries, which had marshmallows. Though it didn't last forever, Smurf Berry Crunch is a legendary example of the character-driven cereal craze that defined the decade.
Number 21. Dr. Pepper Gum.
The 80s was an era of bold flavor experiments, and this next one was a wild ride. Imagine the unique, spicy sweet taste of Dr. Pepper, but in a chewy, bubble-blowing gum. That was the magic of Dr. Pepper gum. It wasn't just some generic soda flavor. It somehow captured the distinct 23 flavors of the drink. For fans of the soda, it was a dream come true. The best part was the liquid center that would burst in your mouth, giving you a splash of concentrated soda flavor. Like a lot of novelty gums from back then, the flavor didn't last very long, but that initial burst was powerful and unmistakable. It was a quirky, fun, and surprisingly accurate candy, and a true testament to 80s snack creativity.
Number 20.
Trio Candy Bar. Why settle for one flavor when you can have 3? That was the simple but genius idea behind the Trio Candy Bar. This forgotten gem from the 80s was a triple threat of deliciousness. It had a layer of buttery shortbread cookie, a layer of sweet caramel, and it was all covered in rich milk chocolate. The commercial jingle was impossible to forget. I want a trio, and I want one now. Each part was great on its own, but together they created a perfect symphony of taste and texture. You got the crunch from the cookie, the chew from the caramel, and the smooth melt of the chocolate. It was a perfectly balanced candy bar that offered a little bit of everything. Though it eventually vanished from candy aisles, anyone who remembers it still craves that perfect combo of cookie, caramel, and chocolate.
Number 19. Care Bears Waffles.
In the 80s, the Care Bears weren't just on our TVs. They were in our freezers too. Care Bears Waffles were a breakfast dream for any kid who loved the adorable cloud-dwelling bears. These weren't just any old frozen waffles. They were stamped with images of favorite characters like Tenderheart Bear and Cheer Bear. Popping them in the toaster and seeing those familiar faces get warm and crispy was a morning ritual for so many kids. They were more than just food. They felt like a warm, syrupy hug to start your day. Drowning them in butter and maple syrup while watching cartoons was a Saturday morning tradition for a generation. They just made breakfast fun.
Number 18. Kudos Granola Bars.
Before the snack aisle was overflowing with a million different kinds of snack bars, one bar ruled them all in the 80s. Kudos. Introduced by Mars, these weren't your typical healthy, boring granola bars. No, these were the perfect mix of a wholesome snack and a candy bar. With flavors like chocolate chip, nutty fudge, and the legendary version packed with M&Ms, Kudos felt like a treat you could get away with. Your parents felt good about the granola part, and you were just happy to be eating something that tasted like candy. They were chewy, sweet, and just the right thing to get you through an afternoon slump. Despite being incredibly popular, Kudos bars were discontinued in 2017, leaving a generation to wonder why such a perfect snack had to disappear.
Number 17. Bonkers. You just can't talk about 80s candy without bringing up Bonkers.
The commercials alone were iconic. Someone would take a bite and a giant piece of fruit would come crashing down on their head because Bonkers bonks you out. Made by Nabisco, Bonkers were a chewy, rectangular candy with a fruity outside and an even fruitier filling inside. Flavors like watermelon, grape, and strawberry delivered an intense burst of that artificial fruitiness that was pure 80s joy. They had a texture kind of like a starburst, but with that extra surprise of a gooey center. Biting into one was a flavor explosion that totally lived up to the wild advertising. Though they disappeared in the mid-90s, their powerful fruity punch lives on.
Number 16. Lunchables. In the late 1980s, Oscar Mayer completely changed the lunchbox game forever with the introduction of Lunchables. It was a stroke of pure marketing genius, a pre-packaged, build-it-yourself meal kit for kids. The classic combo of crackers, processed cheese, and perfectly round slices of bologna or ham was an instant hit. It turned lunchtime from just a meal into a hands-on experience. Kids got to be architects, carefully building their own little cracker sandwiches. It gave them a sense of fun and control that a normal sandwich just couldn't compete with. While our parents might have wished for something a little healthier, there was no denying the convenience and the absolute joy it brought to kids. Lunchables are still a huge deal in the snack aisle today, a true survivor from the 80s that has definitely stood the test of time. Number 15. Nintendo Cereal System.
In 1988, Nintendo wasn't just taking over our living rooms, it was invading our breakfast tables with the Nintendo Cereal System. This was the holy grail for any video game-obsessed kid. It wasn't just one cereal, but two different cereals in the same box, separated by a divider. On one side, you had the Super Mario Bros. Action series, a fruity-flavored cereal with crunchy shapes of Mario, Goombas, and super mushrooms. On the other side was the Legend of Zelda Adventure series, a berry-flavored cereal with shapes of Link, shields, and keys. It was a brilliant idea that let you mix your own adventure in a bowl. The boxes themselves were collectibles, with game tips and special offers printed on the back. The cereal only lasted about 2 years, but its legacy is massive, perfectly capturing the link between pop culture and snacking that defined the 80s.
Number 14. Big League Chew.
Before kids were old enough for the real thing, there was Big League Chew. Introduced in 1980, this shredded bubblegum in a foil pouch was an absolute icon of the decade. It was designed to look just like the chewing tobacco used by pro baseball players, giving kids a safe way to copy their heroes. Ripping open that pouch and stuffing a huge wad of shredded gum into your cheek was a rite of passage. The original grape and classic bubblegum flavors were amazing, and you could blow huge, sticky bubbles that stained your tongue for hours. It was the taste of summer, of Little League games, and of scraped knees on a dusty field. Big League Chew is still around today, a testament to its brilliant concept and a direct line back to those carefree days in the dugout.
Number 13.
Cool Ranch Doritos. It's hard to imagine a world without them, but the zesty, savory magic of Cool Ranch Doritos first hit our taste buds in 1986. While nacho cheese Doritos had already made the brand a snack-time powerhouse, the introduction of Cool Ranch was a total game-changer. It offered a completely different flavor, cool, tangy, and loaded with a complex mix of onion, garlic, and other spices. It was a flavor that was instantly addictive. The cool, creamy sensation was the perfect contrast to the satisfying crunch of the tortilla chip. It quickly became one of the most popular chip flavors of all time and has been a staple at parties, in vending machines, and in pantries ever since. Its lasting popularity is proof that some 80s creations were just meant to be legendary.
Number 12. Fruit Wrinkles and Fruit Roll-Ups. The 80s was the decade of fruit snacks that were definitely more candy than fruit, and two of the biggest names were Fruit Wrinkles and Fruit Roll-Ups. General Mills' Fruit Corners brand was behind these lunchbox staples. Fruit Roll-Ups, which came out in the early 80s, were sheets of sticky, chewy, fruit-flavored candy that you could unroll and eat. Kids would spend forever creating shapes or just wrapping them around their fingers. Then, in 1986 came Fruit Wrinkles, which were small, wrinkly, pebble-like pieces that looked a bit like raisins and packed an intense fruity flavor. In fact, the beloved shark bites were originally based on the texture of Fruit Wrinkles. Both snacks came in those shiny foil pouches that made such a satisfying crinkle. They really were the peak of fun, processed, fruit-flavored snacking. Number 11. Pop Rocks. Though they were first invented in the 50s, Pop Rocks became a full-blown phenomenon and a quintessential 80s candy. The feeling was unlike anything else. Tiny carbonated crystals that sizzled, popped, and crackled in your mouth. It felt like a tiny fireworks show was going off on your tongue. The experience was so wild that it sparked a huge urban legend that mixing Pop Rocks with soda would make your stomach explode. The rumor got so big that the company had to take out full-page ads to prove it wasn't true. Of course, that only made the candy seem more rebellious and exciting. The novelty never really wore off, and Pop Rocks are still available today, continuing to surprise a new generation with their one-of-a-kind fizzy magic. Number 10. Planters Cheese Balls. For true fans of cheese puffs, there has never been a replacement for Planters Cheese Balls. These weren't just any cheese snack, they were the absolute peak of cheesy perfection. Sold in that iconic bright blue canister, these airy spherical corn puffs were coated in an unnaturally orange, intensely flavorful cheese dust. The texture was amazing, a crisp outer shell that gave way to an airy center that basically melted in your mouth. And the flavor was a sharp, tangy cheddar explosion that left your fingers coated in that delicious orange residue. Licking it off wasn't just acceptable, it was practically a requirement. Planters inexplicably discontinued them in 2006, which led to years of outrage from devoted fans. After a massive online campaign, they finally made a limited comeback in 2019, proving that true love for a classic 80s snack never really dies. Number 9. Squeeze It. In the 1980s, even our juice boxes had personality. Squeeze It, introduced by General Mills in 1985, wasn't just a drink, it was an interactive experience. The brightly colored fruit-flavored liquid came in a soft plastic bottle that you had to, you guessed it, squeeze to drink. Each flavor was represented by a cartoon character molded right into the bottle, with names like Chucklin' Cherry, Silly Billy Strawberry, and Grumpy Grape. The commercials were great, showing kids literally squeezing the fun out of these characters. Later, they added fun gimmicks like mystery flavors in black bottles and tablets that would change the color of your drink. Squeeze-Its were officially discontinued in 2001, and though they've made a few brief comebacks, they remain a beloved and quirky memory of the 80s and 90s hydration. Number 8. Whatchamacallit Bar. With a name that's as fun to say as the bar is to eat,
The Whatchamacallit has been a standout in the candy aisle since the late 80s. This Hershey's creation has always been a wonderful mystery. The original 80s version had a peanut-flavored crisp, topped with a layer of caramel and coated in milk chocolate. The mix of textures was its true genius. The light, airy crunch of the Rice Krispies, the chewy pull of the caramel, and the smooth chocolate coating. It was a complex and satisfying bite that was different from anything else on the shelf. While the formula has changed a few times over the years, the Whatchamacallit bar is still being made, a survivor that continues to intrigue snackers with its unique name and even more unique texture.
Number 7. PB Max. This is the strange story of a super successful candy bar that was supposedly killed off for one of the weirdest reasons ever.
Introduced by Mars in 1989, PB Max was a masterpiece of peanut butter goodness. It had a whole grain cookie base topped with a thick, creamy, sweet peanut butter, all covered in milk chocolate. It was an immediate hit, racking up an impressive $50 million in sales. So, why did it disappear? Well, according to the legend, the candy was discontinued simply because the Mars family personally hated peanut butter. Whether that's 100% true or not, the story has become famous. For those who loved its perfect balance of sweet, salty, and crunchy, the loss of PB Max remains one of the great injustices of the candy world.
Number 6. Shark Bites.
Just when you thought it was safe to eat fruit snacks. That was the tagline for Shark Bites, and they absolutely ruled the fruit snack ocean of the late 80s. Launched in 1988, these Betty Crocker snacks were shaped like different kinds of sharks and came in a variety of fruity flavors. But the real thrill of opening a pouch of Shark Bites was the hunt for the legendary Great White. These were special opaque white gummies that had a different, softer texture and a mysterious, amazing flavor. Finding one, or even better, a rare pouch with 2 or 3, was like finding treasure. It created a full-on playground currency, with kids trading multiple regular gummies for a single Great White. Though the formula has changed over the years, the memory of the original Shark Bites and the exciting hunt for the Great White is a core 80s childhood experience.
Number 5. Hi-C Ecto Cooler.
Few product tie-ins have ever reached the cult status of Hi-C Ecto Cooler. Released in 1989 to promote the real Ghostbusters cartoon, this drink was a cultural phenomenon. It was a citrus-flavored drink, but its most famous feature was its otherworldly slime green color. The juice box featured the show's breakout ghost, Slimer, which immediately cemented its cool kid status. The flavor was a unique and delicious blend of tangerine and orange that was tangy, sweet, and completely addictive. Ecto Cooler was so popular that it outlived the show it was based on by a decade and was only discontinued in the early 2000s. Its legend has only grown since then, with fans constantly begging for its return, and Coca-Cola occasionally granting their wish with highly anticipated limited edition releases.
Number 4. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fresh-baked pudding pies. As the 80s came to a close, the Ninja Turtles were everywhere, and the snack aisle was no exception. In 1991, Hostess, the masters of the snack pie, gave us one of the most legendary tie-ins of all time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pudding pies. These weren't just any pudding pies. They were fresh-baked and featured a vanilla pudding that was dyed a shocking shade of mutagen green. The flaky pie crust was covered in vanilla icing and sprinkled with green sugar crystals. On the box, the turtles declared them to be cowabunga cool. The experience of biting into that warm, gooey, neon green filling was pure, unfiltered 80s joy. It was a sugar rush of epic proportions, fit for a hero in a half-shell.
Number 3. Jello Pudding Pops. Creamy, frosty, and absolutely iconic. Jello Pudding Pops were the undisputed king of the frozen dessert aisle in the 1980s. Launched in 1979 and made famous throughout the 80s with spokesperson Bill Cosby, these treats weren't quite ice cream and not quite popsicles. They were frozen pudding on a stick, and they were magnificent. The texture was uniquely smooth and creamy, a perfect frozen version of Jell-O's classic pudding. The chocolate, vanilla, and chocolate vanilla swirl flavors were simple, but so satisfying. Pudding Pops became a massive success, earning over $300 million a year at their peak. Despite their incredible popularity, they were eventually discontinued in 2004 after the brand was sold and the formula changed, leaving fans forever missing the creamy, dreamy original. Number 2. Keebler Magic Middles. There was something truly magical about Keebler's Magic Middles. Introduced in the late 1980s, these cookies looked pretty simple on the outside, just a humble, buttery shortbread. But inside was the secret, a soft, melted, chocolatey center. Biting into one was a delightful surprise, as the liquid fudge or peanut butter filling oozed out. The Keebler elves had really outdone themselves, creating a cookie that was both a comforting classic and a decadent treat all at once. People have all sorts of theories about why they were discontinued, with some guessing the production process was too complicated. Whatever the reason, their disappearance in the early 2000s sparked a wave of nostalgia and countless online petitions demanding their return. For many, Magic Middles represent the absolute peak of 80s cookie innovation. Number 1. Bar none. Okay, before we get to our number 1, let's just take a moment. If you were a true candy bar fan in the late 80s, you know this one. Released by Hershey's in 1987, Bar None was, for a brief, shining moment, the perfect candy bar. It was a masterpiece of textures and flavors. It started with a crisp chocolate wafer, which was then layered with a rich chocolate cream filling, topped with crunchy crushed peanuts, and finally, the whole thing was covered in a layer of smooth milk chocolate. It was complex, sophisticated, and unbelievably delicious. Every single bite was a journey from crunch to cream to nutty to smooth. This was a candy bar for people who truly loved chocolate in all its forms. Despite a fiercely loyal fan base, Bar None was quietly discontinued in the mid-90s, becoming the ultimate lost treasure of the candy world, and our number 1 retro 80s snack that we wish would come back. And there you have it, 25 snacks that defined the delicious, vibrant, and sometimes just plain weird decade of the 1980s. From crunchy and chewy to cheesy and chocolatey, these treats weren't just food. They were a part of growing up. They were traded on the playground. They were the highlight of your lunchbox, and they fueled countless hours of video games and bike rides. Looking back at them is more than just a trip down the grocery aisle. It's a journey back to a simpler, sweeter time. So, what did we miss? I want to hear from you. What was your absolute favorite 80s snack? Let me know in the comments below. Which treat do you miss the most, and what memories does it bring back for you? If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more retro flashbacks. Until next time, keep snacking and hold on to those sweet memories.